Good evening and welcome on in to the evening edition of From Day One. We pick up the case where we left off with our good friend Father Skeptic bringing us along.
February 22nd. This current bond violation that is being rained on today is alleged to have occurred on February 19th.
As some of you may have caught, she said his first violation was on February 22nd, which is today, and his second violation was on February 19th, which is temporally impossible. What she meant to say was that his first violation was on February 12th, and it only took this dipshit 1 week to land his ass back in jail.
And in light of that, I would ask the court to consider setting either a reasonable bond or, again, a PR bond. In discussing this matter with Mr. Peltola, he does have criminal matters pending in Brown County, and there is a court date on Monday in that case. It looks like from the lien printout, he may have had some issues either in the past or currently appearing in court. And I'd like to be able to have Mr. Peltola be able to take care of that matter. It looks like it's a more serious matter than the matters in this court. If he can make those arrangements to get down to Green Bay to take care of that. He's given me the name of his attorney, and I intend to contact that attorney and see what Mr. Peltola needs to be doing with regard to that case. So if the court does not grant a bond that he can post, perhaps we can make arrangements for him to appear from the jail here.
Ms. Cass, you wish to be heard on bond?
I leave it to your discretion.
All right, concerning the matter, then I have some concerns regarding Mr. Peltola. He seems to be on a spiral. This started with a disorderly drunk on February 4th in a public place. I saw him on February 5th. I set his bond terms. I saw him back on February 12th, with a .236 on a preliminary breath test. I set bond at that time on the bond violation and the underlying. And the reason I told him then that I was going to give him the break is that normally I see people in between, they get arraigned, I give them the warning, and then they come back on a bond violation. He had not had the warning in between because he violated his bond so quickly that I saw him all at once. So I told Mr. Peltola at that time that I would set the bond at a 1,000 PR, but understand that if he came back again, he would leave me no opportunity or new choice. So here we are, not even a week later, on February 19th, stealing alcohol from the Norway Quick Stop, involving another bond violation, as well as a new underlying charge that I'm free to assume is true for purposes of setting bond.
I tell you what, this guy's not only a model citizen, but he's also a card-carrying member of the sovereign citizen branch of the ARC.
So for purposes of setting bond today, and then for the following reasons, and in regard to his Wisconsin matters, very serious matters, he's got 2 felonies pending in Brown County from 2023. The first one alleges possession of narcotic drugs, a felony, possession of a controlled substance on or near certain places with a modifier, carrying a concealed knife, possession of drug paraphernalia. That case has been pending through for quite some time. And he has a court date for a status conference scheduled for February 26th at 11 a.m. Then, so the date of this offense was filing date of 2/10 of 2023. He's got a filing date of March 15th of 2023 in Brown County, another felony alleging bail jumping as well as possession of drug paraphernalia. Likewise, that has a court date at the same date and the same time as the other pending felony.
I think that is part of the other pending felony. They charge it as a separate offense, but
It's a separate case. Total separate case, total separate charges, total separate bond, total separate court dates. This is file 23 CF 448. The first one is 23 CF 240. So in respect to the matter, my point being for purposes of setting bond, Mr. Peltola has some substance abuse issues going on. He's got numerous cases pending in Wisconsin as well as now here. In regard to the matter, Mr. Peltola, I'm going to direct you to talk to your lawyer. I'm setting bond concerning the new theft case. Then the conditions are going to be as follows. Mr. Peltola may not enter into the Norway Quick Stop as a condition of his release. He is not to purchase, possess, or consume alcohol or non-prescribed controlled substances. Mr. Peltola is subject to random PBTs and drug screens. Mr. Peltola may not go in any businesses that sell alcohol for use inside, such as bars and taverns. Recreational and medicinal marijuana use and possession are prohibited until or unless further order of the court. Conditioned on him signing that waiver of extradition, which I do have in the file, I will allow him to go back and forth to Wisconsin for purposes of court hearings and or meeting with his attorney. If
And residency, he lives in Wisconsin.
in residency. No, he lives in Vulcan. Or he says Vulcan. Is that just your
Bracketed.
mailing address?
Yes, we can do it like that if you choose to.
Well, where is your residency?
My
Well, he's-
residency and my domicile is 1968 River Street. We can switch it with a mailing address to W43, the apartment 13 in Vulcan, Michigan. The address should be in there. It should be bracketed.
Right, and that's apartment 13. You didn't put that on there though. Apartment 13?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's your mailing address though?
Yes, but the problem is that building's not registered anywhere. I had to go to the post office and I had something mailed and they told me that my mail was being returned and because there's no actual mailboxes in the building.
Are you telling me that when you make up your own bracketed address, the post office isn't able to deliver your mail there? You know, funny thing, the people at Hogwarts University suffer from the same problem.
All right, so I got two issues I need to deal with here. One, do you live in Wisconsin? Do you have to go to Wisconsin for purposes of residency or just your court stuff?
My mailing address, my residency, and my domicile are all registered at my mother's house. There was some unexplained events that I will not say out loud.
I don't know where your
protected
mother's house is, Mr. Peltola.
Nine
Ma'am.
address.
River Street, Niagara, Wisconsin, 54151. My mailing address will be W45. That's the Norway or the Vulcan address. I can't remember that off the top of my head.
Right. So in regard to bond, then condition on him signing a waiver of extradition, I'll allow him to go back and forth between Michigan and Wisconsin for residency, court appearances, meetings with his attorney. In regard to the matter, if you relocate for any reason, you must provide the court with an updated address and phone number within 7 days of any change. Concerning the amount of the bond on the new retail fraud, I'm going to set that I'm going to set that at 1,000 cash surety, 10%. In regard to the newest bond violation, then I'm finding for both of them, actually, I'm going to make a record based on the factors the court is required to consider under MCR 6.106, considering the frequency, the charges, the dates that I have mentioned, as well as the ongoing Wisconsin matter. I am finding that to release him on a personal recognizance bond would not adequately ensure public safety. In regard to the bond violation, concerning the matter, then I am going to set the bond violation at 2,500 cash surety, 10%. So, Mr. Peltola, those bonds are set. If you get out, you make sure to get in touch with your lawyer. If you're in
Can I say
custody, she'll
something?
be in touch with you. You may.
Can I say- Yes. You know, I don't understand how I can tell you that I'm an American national and you can hold me in a county jail under bond, especially today when I was arrested on a larceny under $200. Somebody changed case prefixes and the warrant got dropped to a misdemeanor. And now you're still going to illegally hold me in a county jail under bond?
Short answer, yes. Long answer, yes.
All right, Mr. Peltola, I'm not gonna argue with you. Your
I was gonna say,
sovereign
hell yes,
citizen
but
has been noted for the record. In regard to the matter, you are under the order of the court. You're under the jurisdiction of the court. I decline to
Isn't that how the
follow
case-
what
that-
your,
Can I at least tell you, admit I was arrested on a larceny charge that was dropped through a case prefix, what UN, all incoming evidence? Can I at least have you admit that in the court of law that you guys illegally kidnapped me again with a larceny through John Rod D. Clark, Norway Police Department? Can I just have you admit that once?
no, Mr.
no.
Peltola, I don't even know what you're talking about. I will not admit that. Thank you to the
It's all
jail. We are
recorded
off
over
the record
on the
on this
jail.
matter.
Bye, have a great time.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. I guess I can safely say that he'll be back again, just not of his own free will. Also, I want to let you know that there was so much sovereign citizen craziness in court yesterday, and I have an absolute banger that you don't want to miss tomorrow. So if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike. But don't forget to leave a comment below and subscribe with notifications on so you
Father Skeptic, I definitely appreciate it. And considering you said you've got a top of the line banger, as you put it, we'll definitely make sure we come back around for you tomorrow for that. Until then, game's going crazy, but we'll leave it here. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Be kind to one another, and definitely release the Kraken as we march along this evening and every evening here from day one. Have the best of nights. We'll see you all bright and early here tomorrow.